What a game of football, man. Oh my gosh, bro. That might have been the most exciting big clash we've seen in a minute. I'm trying to think of, the big clashes we had this year. Obviously early in the season, PSG Barca, obviously like El Clasicos and whatnot, but in the Champions League, like with the occasion, especially with the occasion, it's been quite a minute since we had a quarterfinal like this, man. Obviously there was some good quarterfinals last year, but Real Madrid, Bayern, that's just UCL heritage, and those games always go hard. They're always exciting. And if I'm being honest, my main takeaway from this is that Bayern Munich left Real Madrid just a crack, left them a crack to maybe get something out of this tie, maybe go through in this tie. I just think Bayern Munich failed in the sense of not closing off the tie here, okay? You look at the game, Bayern Munich was dominating, right? Real Madrid had their opportunities, and Mbappe in particular had quite a few opportunities, but Manuel Neuer is going to Manuel Neuer, right? So, you live with that if you're Real Madrid, but look, Bayern had opportunity after opportunity. They were in on goal. Like maybe it was like 3v1 at times or 2v1 on the counter. And it was always this one little detail that they just couldn't get right, whether it be like a final pass, a bad touch. These types of things can really decide a game. Yes, Bayern won the game 2-1 and deservedly so. But I think Bayern should have won this game by quite a lot more. And yes, Real Madrid had chances, like I mentioned before. But I think your keeper bailing you out and saving, chances is different from you as a team being 3v1 on the box, like in the box, and not being able to score. That's a different level of missed opportunity in my opinion. Bayern, like I said, dominant, but they should have had maybe 4 or 5. Their XG was 3 today, but really they could have put a lot more in my opinion. Like some of these chances they had, they're gonna be looking back at that regretful if they lose this tie, but I still don't think they will. And I gotta give credit to Real Madrid, okay? Because yes, Bayern was dominant. Bayern honestly should have ran away with this. The tie should have been done in the first half, in my opinion. But Real Madrid, they stayed in the game. And, Bayern low-key let them a little bit, but I got to give them credit, right? Real Madrid stayed in the game. And my worry with Real Madrid was when you bring in Mbappe, when you bring in Vinny, when you bring in Jude, you guys are just not going to run as much, right? And that's not to say Jude doesn't run, Vinny doesn't run. We know Mbappe is not going to track back, even though he did. He did do that today. I got to give him a little credit for that. But realistically, right, just from their performances throughout the season, when you have all these guys on the pitch, your defensive effort absolutely declines, like goes off a cliff, right? So it's like 8, they're defending with 8, sometimes 7. Like you can't win like that, right? We saw it with PSG a few years ago, the Galacticos in their first iteration, all those years back in the mid 2000s. So for Real Madrid, I thought the only way they had a chance in this game was if they, didn't start both Vinny and Mbappe, which is crazy as that sounds, right? But if you sacrificed one of them and then went for the, sit back, defend compactly in a low block and go on the counter like you did versus City. So Arbeloa decides to put Mbappe and Vinny, and I don't blame him. Like, what as a manager, what else are you going to do? It's a very brave and bold decision. It's borderline crazy, right? But he did it, so he started both of them. And to their credit, they had opportunities, man. Mbappe in particular, my goodness, those right wing shifts that he put in, it low key felt like I was watching 2018 Mbappe back when he was at PSG and Neymar held the left, and it was Cavani in the middle, and then Mbappe on the right. Or at the World Cup, right? It was Matuidi on the left, I think, and Giroud, and then Mbappe on the right. It was nice to see him, work that right side for a minute. But yeah, man, I think Real Madrid, to their credit, and against my opinion, they weren't that bad. But you could see the gulf in quality between the two teams anyway, right? So I think I don't know if you benched Mbappe or Vinny that this team would have looked better today. I really don't think so because the way Mbappe ran today, like he was making actually really smart runs, which is weird to say, right? Because usually that's not what he does, right? He just plays it. He waits for the cutback every time. But he was making really good runs, creating opportunities, had a lot of chances, shooting from tough angles, making it difficult on Neuer. Neuer though had just crazy saves. Like you could say Mbappe had missed opportunities, yes, but really I think Neuer just made great save after great save. I don't really think there was one Mbappe was like, man, he really should have scored that. I think Neuer phenomenal today. I think you should praise Neuer more than critique Mbappe there. But I digress. Um, Real Madrid, for as much as they were getting beat, they still found a way to cling on to hope in this tie. Trent to Mbappe, I think in the 70-ish minute. Let's check. But it was 74th minute. Gave him hope. And that bro, the Bernabeu was on fire after that goal, man. It was crazy. I never seen anything like it. Like they had so much hope and belief. And I don't think you could say that when you watch this Real Madrid team this season. You couldn't say that too often anyway, although they did have that one period they're on top of the league. But yeah, it wasn't necessarily awe-inspiring footy. But I got to give it to Real Madrid. They knew they were up against the best team in the world today, and they played like it. They played with some urgency, some bravery, some passion that we've been begging to see the whole season. I'm watching this Real Madrid team like, where was this the entire season? I'm seeing Mbappe make trackbacks. I'm seeing Vinny and like the way they were pressing the ball, but also they were able to adapt and defend low. Lunin was making some good saves as well, some nice last minute clearances. I think, well, man, I almost forgot about this. Nabry had that one like easy shot on goal, or maybe two. No, it was Nabry with the one where Thiago Pitarch just passes it back to him. And then there was another big chance for Bayern with Upamecano, who just scuffs the shot, and then Carreras clears it off the line. But those should have been two goals for Bayern today, which tracks all the way back to my point that Bayern did not seal the deal, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite them. Okay, we can talk about some of the star players today. Elise was fantastic. Harry Kane was phenomenal. Luis Diaz, Serge Gnabry, he's been having an incredible revival season for me. Even Kimmich was really great today, and obviously Neuer. I think you could argue Neuer was the player of the game. You really could, but I'm just very scared that they're gonna get undone by these missed opportunities. We'll see what happens in the second leg. But yeah, I gotta give it to Bayern, man. And I mean, I honestly thought it was gonna be a lot harsher of a defeat for Real Madrid. I thought this Bayern team was going to crush them, and really they did. They just didn't have the points to show for it. But performance wise, you could argue Bayern should have left with like 5 goals, right? So like it's tough, man. Look, it's at the Allianz. This is my prediction for the second leg, okay? Because this first leg, yes, Bayern dominated, but it also showed you that Real Madrid is resilient, right? Real Madrid will stay in the game as long as you let them anyway. And they will stay in the game and they will make it difficult for you. It's going to be tough. It depends who scores first at the Allianz. If Real Madrid score first, God. Oh my gosh, man. It's okay. PSG will take care of that next round, but like it would just be embarrassing for Bayern, wouldn't it? So I think look, I'm looking at the second leg. I'm thinking to myself, okay, Bayern's at home. Statistically speaking, home teams win their second legs, right? So there's that to back them. But overall, Bayern's a better team. Bayern's a better team. They show that today. And even if you add Jude in, who Jude had a fantastic cameo today. He came in and Real Madrid looked a lot better, a lot more threatening, and the game got really open at times. And Jude was absolutely key because he was carrying the ball, and that Bayern midfield was tired. They could not keep up with him. So when you take all of that into account and you see how well they played in this first leg, you're thinking Real Madrid has a chance for the second leg. But I think at the end of the day, this Bayern team is just too good. It's like you don't just jump up in quality, even if it is Real Madrid, right? They've been performing at like, a B tier at best. You're not going to jump up to S tier against Bayern. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen in a Champions League quarterfinal second leg. Give me Bayern to win the second leg. They're going to take this goal. I think they're going to take advantage of this one goal advantage. And saying advantage twice there was a lot, but this one goal lead is going to help them, I think. Give them a little bit of, space, reprieve. It's not quite necessarily, like a cushion, but I think it's enough, right? And I think also when it comes to big leads, it's tough because like yeah, you'd always rather have 2 or 3 goals, but also sometimes that creates unnecessary pressure on you. Like, man, we got this big lead now, we can't choke it. So I think with the 1 goal lead, it leaves you just urgent enough. Like you get the sense of urgency, but you also have just that little bit of room for error. So we'll see what happens, but I think Bayern should go through in this tie. I think Real Madrid really needed a result here, like a tie at least. I just don't see how you outscore this Bayern Munich team. It's impossible. Nobody does it, man. Nobody outscores them. So it's unfortunate for Real Madrid. I think they really needed it. And you can think back to like some of the missed chances Real Madrid had too, because yeah, Neuer made some crazy saves, but there was also a chance I recall now where Vinny was 1-on-1 with Neuer, and he just hits it wide like on the side netting. And Neuer did a good job of making himself big, but realistically, Vinny should be scoring there, right? So it's tough. I think both of these teams are going to regret some of the missed chances in this match, but I think at the end of the day, the rightful winner, I think the better team won today, and I think the better team will qualify for the next round. But yeah, man, what a game. What a game. Because I think my commentator was saying it was just so open at times. Felt like basketball, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's what we love to see. That is what the game is about, man. Teams who want to play attacking football. And, as long as they have the means and it's smart and it doesn't look stupid, I love it, right? Like Real Madrid, they play attacking football because they have, best in the world attackers, but like they also defended, deep and compact at times. Sometimes you could say they overdid it too because it felt like they were so low that they just gave up like all of the field to Bayern. They're like, okay, let's just get back in our line, run in front of our box, and let Bayern, do their thing. But it wasn't, dumb. I think it was very smart considering the means of your squad and the ability of your squad, platforming guys to do, to keep your score, respectable, right? To keep the result respectable. And at the end of the day, I think games like this, I love to see. This is what the Champions League is all about. And yeah, man, I think the second leg is going to be a firecracker. Tuesday, we will be tuned, man. We will be tuned in. But yeah, we'd also talk about Arsenal versus Sporting. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch this game. I don't know if you're not an Arsenal or Sporting fan. I hate to make statements like this, but if you're not a fan of either of these clubs, I wonder what compels you to watch this game. Because you have basically the two biggest clubs in the world, or two of the most historical clubs, ever successfully, to play European football are going up against each other in a big occasion with big stakes. The stakes don't get much bigger than this in club football, right? So why would you watch Arsenal Sporting? Obviously, you got the multi screen and stuff, but anyway, I say all that to say, I did not really watch this game. I saw Kai Havertz scored a winner, which is nice for them to just have that 1 goal lead going back to the Emirates. Especially with Arsenal's recent form in terms of losing, the getting eliminated out of the FA Cup by Southampton, and then also losing the Carabao Cup to Man City a few weeks back. They needed something like this. They really did. Keep your UCL hopes alive. At the end of the day, the cup competitions are the least important. You're here for the league and you're here for the UCL. Just that's all you have left. Put one foot in front of the other, go hard. And yeah, Arsenal again are also super pedestrian going forward. So, the fact that they could only score one on Sporting might seem a little bit alarming, but at the end of the day, you take what you can get, right? And Arsenal are more than good enough to defend a 1 goal lead against damn near any team in the world, I'd argue, right? So you take this, you go back to the Emirates, make it professional. Don't beat yourself. And I think Arsenal should be looking at a calm qualification next round. But yeah, I didn't watch this game, so I can't talk to you about some of the tactics or anything like that. But I think as far as the result and what it means for Arsenal season, it's what you want. You'll take whatever you can get. I would not be picky. If I'm an Arsenal fan, if I'm a gooner, I would not be picky with the results right now. You are in the UCL. Just take what you can get and go. Kai Havertz, 91st minute goal is gonna be what gets you through the tie. So be it. What? Who cares? Make the UCL semifinal, man. This is what you. It's not about how you win. It's that you win. at this point. And I think we're gonna see a lot of teams start to enact that approach. But yeah, crazy game of footy today. Crazy games of footy today. If you watch the Arsenal and Sporting game, but yeah, a phenomenal game between Madrid and Bayern. I cannot wait for tomorrow. There are going to be some electric games. Atleti versus Barcelona, and then PSG versus Liverpool in Paris. Man, if you love the game, you will be tuned in tomorrow. Incredible. Incredible. I don't know, man. Like, I can't say I still trust my predictions after today. Even though I was right, I did expect Bayern to win today. I did expect Arsenal to win today. But wow, football will surprise you. I think we're in for some surprises tomorrow. I think Liverpool might have something for PSG. I really do, which I'm not quite excited about. But you got to live with stuff like that, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm just rambling at this point, but I'm telling you, man, tomorrow's gonna be fantastic and scary. I will literally be biting my nails as I watch PSG and Liverpool, and that Barca Liverpool game, Barca Atleti game rather, would be on the side, and I know that game's gonna be crazy with Barca's high line. You're guaranteed entertainment. So yeah, we will be back tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Ollie Footy. Until next time, peace.